Welcome to the Divine Feminines podcast and channel. I'm your host, Steph Desar, and in today's episode, we are talking soft girl era, how to step into your soft girl qualities, lifestyle, being, and all of that good stuff. But before I get started, don't forget to like and subscribe this channel. It's Divine Feminines on YouTube and all major podcast platforms. That's Apple, Spotify, Google, you name it. And we're also on TikTok and Instagram with Divine Feminines with a Z at the end. So while I can subscribe this channel, well, we've got all great stuff to empower your mind, body and soul, divine feminine energy, how you really liberate in your divine feminine energy, balance your masculine and feminine energy, really go on that journey of soul growth and how you can just become a better person overall. And I hope that this content serves you well. We also have bonus content on YouTube. That's moon magic, moon manifestation, portal updates, energy guidance, and I sometimes do channeled messages and readings specifically for the YouTube channel collectively because I don't do any personal ones. So let's talk soft girl era. I mean, I think the term probably is just another hype term because, you know, it means a lot of the same stuff that maybe some of you guys have already tapped into. And I don't think it's a negative thing. I think it's a positive term and it's a good concept that has come about. It's come about in the last sort of year or so. You know how everything just trends on TikTok and social media. It's definitely been a trending thing that you may see reels and TikToks on women and girls saying, I'm stepping into my soft girl era. It's a soft girl summer. You know, Black women step into your soft girl era. And I'll call this out at the beginning because I feel like it's necessary because I want to take away any labeling to color or culture, right? It has definitely been very much coined around the Black female community, this soft girl era. And I've seen a lot of content that will say it will associate soft girl era to Black women, like Black women step into your soft girl era, you know, rather than just say women step into your soft girl era. So I just wanted to call that out right now because, you know, we're women. We are all women and we all have the same female body and the same sort of female challenges and journey. Everyone's journey is unique, but we are the feminine energy predominantly and dominantly. Obviously, we possess masculine, but regardless of color, we are all very much on the same path, like in terms of being feminines and liberating in our divine feminine energy. So I want to call that out because if any of you don't associate with being Black, or, you know, are of different culture or background, and you're seeing soft girl era and you're seeing it, you know, really kind of focused around the Black community, I don't want you to feel put off and feel like, oh, that doesn't resonate for me or I'm not part of that. So I just want to make this inclusive. I want to make this relevant to everybody because it is. It's just like the Divine Feminines movement. This is a movement and a platform that is for both men and women because everyone has feminine energy. So this is not specific to gender, it's not specific to color, it's not specific to cultural background. So now I've got that out of the way. What is soft girl era? Well, it's very much what it says on the tin. It's all about being in your softness. And I think when I say softness, I mean, you know, not being weak and being a pushover, but being gentle with yourself, being sort of more caring to yourself, giving yourself that self-compassion. You know, I'm big on that self-care and just self-nurturing time, but also being soft and caring on yourself in the way that life is at the moment and how you want to navigate it, and not always having to be so boom, boom, boom in that masculine energy and the doing. And I think regardless of culture, you know, the feminine collective and our feminine ancestors, what were they known for doing back in the days? And if you look at olden days and you might like look at how your mums are, your aunties, depending on your age group, you may have very older mums or middle-aged mums or grandparents, grandmas that were known for very much being, you know, really like rolling up their sleeves, getting stuff done. And they were seen as strong matriarchs of the family and strong female role models, but very much also associated with the strength was associated with, yes, they're holding the family together. They're, you know, I don't want to go into that, there's cooking, cleaning and all of that, but there's, you know, the fact that they're really just being there for everyone but themselves. So that's the part that I think this soft girl era and being in the soft girl sort of feeling, doesn't matter if you call yourself a girl or a woman, it's the softness, right? Allows us to kind of go, let's just be a bit more kinder to ourselves. We don't have to always be doing. But culturally, a lot of women have come from that background of working really hard. We've seen over the ages where women will be at home looking after their kids and also even holding down maybe a family business or helping the family with business, even having a job and looking after the kids. And as it's kind of evolved into the 21st century and to more of the modern day era, you see a lot of women that are single mothers, a lot of women that have to do the family thing alone. They might not necessarily have their parents or wider sort of siblings and things like that, because their family could be abroad or people could have passed, whatever it is, whether they have family nearby or not, and they're a mother particularly, they've got their kids, then they've got to go and make money to pay their bills, to do all of the standard stuff that we need to live life, right? We're not here to just work on earth, we know that, but there are just things that just need to be done. It's called stability. It's called having a home. It's called having all of that in place. So women, especially now, I feel, are in that zone where, they might have chosen that this is not working for me. I can't be with that man. And good for them, because to all you women that have had to go and move on and say, I can't be with this relationship, and actually me staying in that relationship is being more toxic to myself, to that other person and my children. And this also goes out to the women that don't have children, because I'm here, I'm there, I'm here with you guys. I left a relationship, might have not been overtly toxic, but wasn't right for me, a marriage, stepped away from that. I've had other relationships where I've had to step away from, and I provide for myself. No one does anything for me. So it's easy for us women that are single, doing our own thing, whether we're mothers or we're not, paying mortgages, building businesses, running, going to work, building other empires, being light workers, whatever it is that we're doing, we're here and we could be running at autopilot, high accelerated speed. And if I tell you the amount of stuff that I do, I'm sure you guys are like, Steph's always doing something, right? She's always got a podcast out. Some people think that this is my 100%, but this is not what I do on a day-to-day basis. I've just finished up shop. I've just closed the laptop to my corporate job, which I love and I'm so passionate about. But then I've wrapped this up and I'm doing this video. So there has to be discipline, right? But we can easily get caught into the overworking, and society has not helped us. I think about the business world and the working world, and I'm sure you guys have heard these jokes, and they're jokes, but they're not healthy jokes. When you go on holiday, and I think one of my colleagues actually said it, but they're in the US, so I think it's a bit worse in the US, and I felt for her, because we don't have it too much in Europe. I work a lot with the French and the Europeans, and the French, they love their holidays about 2 months in the summertime, and I ain't gonna lie, I love that shit. But it's good. We need to rest. People need to have time with their family. But comments like, oh, what, you're on holiday again? Oh, so how's that gonna get done if you're on holiday? And those kind of comments are not good. That's not promoting rest. And over the years, especially the last 30, 40 years, to be overworking was seemed to be something of praise. That's not good, because when you're overworking, you're on burnout, and you guys will agree with me. If you're trying to get something done and you've got deadlines or whatever it is that you need to get done, if you're already exhausted, do you think that you're going to give it your all when you're doing that? We need to take breaks. We need to be disciplined in saying no to ourselves that wants to go and just keep doing, because it's having a counterintuitive impact. It's giving us eventually diminishing returns. There's, if anyone knows the law of diminishing returns, it happens after productivity levels hit a plateau and it drops. So we all have to think of ourselves as we are productivity within ourselves, but we have to understand that to be productive, we must have balance to continue to have that inspiration, the creativity, the drive, and the energy. If we we then are overburning ourselves. We're then not able to show up for ourselves. We're not feeling good in ourselves. Then how are we going to be showing up in our day-to-day to our family, being role models to our kids? If we are in business and we're business leaders, or we are members of the community that are certain figures, or the matriarch of the family, whatever it is, because women, can I just say, we are all role models. All of us are. No matter what we do, we are. And the feminine energy is one that needs to keep the world together. Like, I'm not saying masculine energy isn't valuable or important, but it is the gel that keeps this world together. It is that unconditional love. It is that compassion, but it's also the fierceness at the same time. So that is embodied in all of us. But if we are not in our strength, and we are not getting the rest we need, and we're not getting the nurture we need, and we're not allowing ourselves to replenish our mind, body, and soul, then we are not able to embody the powerful energy and of what that is, right? So soft girl era, and I just say soft girl, like now, just the softness is about saying, how do I find more healthier balance in my day-to-day? How can I be more soft with myself? What am I doing that is, like, what do I consider softness to be? Is it just like laying down and just like, I don't know, doing nothing? Is that healthy for me? Like, because if you're overworking and you don't even have time to do any exercise, well, first of all, you're overworking, you're burnt out. I think you just need to rest first off, right? Then if you're overworking, you're burnt out, you're going to exercise, you're only going to make yourself more tired. So you have to be realistic. Like, the overworking needs to be, okay, let's scale it back. Let me bring some balance of some rest and some just calmness in my life, and then start to bring in the exercise. The exercise, or whatever it is, whether you're going for walks or you're going, whatever that is, that's also giving yourself nourishment. And our mind, our body, and soul need nourishment. We can't just be, giving two parts of the three areas and forgetting about one part, because we will still feel like we'll feel compromised, and we will know that something doesn't sit right. Our bodies are meant to sweat. Our bodies are meant to be active. But if they're being active in overproductive levels of work and just work, the body's like, wait a minute, I could do other things. I could be, sweating. I could be exercising. I could be stretching. I could be playing a sport. And the body wants that, right? We are made to do that. Like, that is what gives us replenishment. It gives us drive. It helps our cellular activity of our human biology work. Like, it actually regenerates. We are supposed to be regenerative beings, right? So we have to allow that to flow. We create stagnancy if we don't. So first off, look at the lifestyle, the day-to-day things that you're doing, and say, how can I be more soft with myself in those areas? Am I I work a 9 to 5. Okay, well, I need to leave the office a bit earlier, or I'm working from home. And those women that work from home, it's easy to just get, and guys, because if guys are listening, like, I'm more than happy that you're listening, right? But like, it's easy to just get stuck in it and just be like, and I mean, I make sure that I take breaks. I go out into nature. I make sure, and even if I'm being late on a deliverable, like, I will actually go, if I've got to be late on this deliverable, what's the detrimental impact of this? Is it still going to get done? How can I do it in a better way? Do I need a break? Do I need to push back on the deadline? Is there a way that I can rework my schedule? Because if I'm resting and I get time out for me, I can actually do a better job overall. And sometimes I actually spend time I actually spend time regularly on how I can reschedule my whole schedule so that I can make sure I have time for me and movement and just like window time, because it's important. We can't be at our best. We can't think our best if we don't allow that, if we're constantly doing and doing and doing. So I think I've got that point across. That's what it's about. It's about taking a step back, kind of changing the script of what we've learned, what we've seen. Like, if I look at my mom, and this is a really good example, my mom used to work so hard. She didn't really need to be honest. My dad had his own business and we were doing fine, but she wanted to make her own money, and so be it. Like, so she was doing her job and then cooking for the family and doing this and doing that. And she was just constantly at it. And in the end, like, my mum let herself like get quite overworked, and it built up stress. It built up high blood pressure. She wasn't really looking after herself, although she tried. I remember she was going to swimming and she was trying to do some exercising to give time, but she just didn't really have much time for herself. Might go to see a friend once a week or something, but it wasn't so easy for her to do that. She was just there for everyone but herself. And then my mum got a stroke. And like, these things, they will impact your health. And it's not just about, us being better people, but it has long-term detrimental impacts. And then once you get one stroke, you're more likely to get another. And, it can hit you in different ways. High blood pressure, high cholesterol, stress levels, cortisol levels just increase. And then it just triggers so many different problems in the body generally. And a lot of this disease comes from the term dis-ease. Your body is at dis-ease. So you're not feeding your body and giving it the care and nurture and love it wants. If you do that, you're creating preventative health so that you have more sustainable health, so that you don't have to be in dis-ease. So just wanted to say that is another important thing, that becoming more soft with ourselves. And actually, when I saw that happening to my mom, I was like, whoa, strokes, high blood pressure, heart attacks, they run in my family. I'm not going to be another statistic and just be like, oh, this runs in my family, so I'm more likely to get it. No, I'm gonna recreate the odds, and I'm gonna create the probability that I'm less likely to have it because I do this, and this, right? So we can own that. And this is the time, we are never here just letting life happen to us. We are the ones creating it. But it is hard, because for any of you that still have elder women in your family, grandmothers, mothers, aunties, they may still be very much in that old way of doing things, and they don't understand this way of being more softer, less is more in that sense. And actually, rest is important and balance is key to, balance of mind, body, and soul. They might not understand that. So some of you might have those challenges that when you're doing that, you're getting kind of frowned upon, or it's like, well, what is that? Like, that's not, no. We don't do that. Our family don't do that. Like, all of that stuff, just know that you can say no to that, and you could just turn your head away from it. Speak up. Like, if I would definitely speak up and be like, yo, that ain't for me though, and especially a lot of you women are out here with your own homes, paying your own bills, doing your own thing. You don't have to listen to anyone. But even if you're not and you're living with family, there's respectful ways that you can say, that was an old way of doing things. I have my own style and this is it. Like, whether you want to respect that or not, boy, and at the end of the day, guys, girls and guys, it's going to be on you. Whatever anyone tries to enforce on you, they ain't going to be there when you have health problems, or you are distressed, or you are exhausted, or you're feeling anxiety, or just like burnout. No one's really going to be there for you except for you, right? Like, I'm not saying that people are going to leave you in the lurch, but you've got to look out for you, because at the end of the day, that's all you've got. And that's, it's the core of everything, right? Of course, we've got community, family, and friends around us, but we have to be able to go through and process things on our own. And that is ultimately the journey of life. If you keep trying to hold on to people around you, you're never going to really get the whole point of what this life is about, right? Is mastering your own self-awareness and your soul. So this can be quite disruptive. It can cause a bit of friction. It can mean that you have to sort of be a bit bold, because there's people around you that are like, well, why are you behaving like that? Or why are you doing that? Like, oh, no, you're not working as hard enough, or you're not doing this, you're not doing that. A lot of organizations and businesses are promoting a lot of the well-being and balance, which is amazing. encouraging teams to take more time out, to do more sort of connection with nature. I'm a big advocate for that. I'm actually organizing something right now that is going to help teams come together in my workplace. And I think it's really important, bringing in mindfulness, bringing in connection to nature. How can we be our best if we're not taking time out for ourselves? So it's great and it's happening. But if you have an opportunity to speak up, I encourage you to do it and to speak up for yourself first and foremost. And then, with that just comes a natural flow of opportunities to kind of get that out there in the wider spectrum. So, it's choosing to have a soft life, like saying, you know what, I want more of a soft life. It's saying I'm not going to allow the stress from work and now the next point, others. I'm not going to let it consume me. It's taking breaks when you need to. It's not working yourself to the bone. It's stepping away from the BS. If sometimes it's not even overworking. You're just around people and they drain you. And I encourage you guys. This is also how to protect your energy. And I've talked about these topics before, setting boundaries, protecting your energy, raising your vibration. It all is interconnected. You cannot operate at an optimal level if you're around certain people and then after you're around them, they might not be rude to you, right? They might not even be nasty to you. But after you leave them, your body just feels tired, you feel drained. Pay attention to how you're feeling, because that is probably not the most the most healthiest experience to be around. And maybe you need to limit those interactions. You may then actually have just genuinely outright, I say genuinely, but straight up outright negative BS in your face. People being rude, people just, or even not being rude to you, just people just complaining all the time, or just focusing on the negative things, like, oh, that's, like you're going out and you're having an experience. I don't know, you're in a restaurant, or you're going to the cinema and you're with people and they keep pointing out the negatives, like, oh, but this, but that, but they're not even grateful that they're there. I mean, that's not going to be a very empowering experience. You're not actually going to enjoy that and make the most of it. And if you're around that a lot, that's going to be draining. And it's going to make you just reciprocate the same sort of behavior, most likely, because you are what you are what you keep yourself around. It's, like they say, like a rotten apple spoils the rest. So it doesn't take long for those vibes to just to take over, right? So making that conscious effort and statement to yourself that the soft life is what I want, you're caring for yourself. Before you pour into anything else, you pour into your own cup. Another statement I've always said is, how can you pour and give if your cup is empty? You're pouring from an empty cup, then you're just going to keep, it's like a leaky bucket. It's like there's a hole in your cup and you're never going to really be at full capacity for yourself to operate in your best ability, right? So this is really choosing for the healthier option of you. I know it doesn't happen overnight. And I know a lot of people are like, and I was there, like, oh, you want to be more healthier? Okay, how do I do it? And you just can't do this overnight, but it's consistency. It's making those conscious choices and choosing what you interact with, when you interact with it, how you want to treat your body, and making that decision every day. Like, living a conscious life basically is the premise of it all. Like, how can I be better to my body? It's also even, what am I putting into my body? And I've spoken about that in food episodes, spoken about tropical fruits, and all of the things that you can consciously do to feed your body and nourish your body. Because, there's a choice we have, right? We can either, if you're living a very high productive output life and you've got to get a lot done. So I've got to get a lot done, right? Yes, I don't have kids, but I do have a very demanding life. But I think what gives me balance is I'm treating my body like a temple. Like, I treat it with so much love and respect. It gets the rest. Yeah, I could do better with sleep sometimes, but it gets the meditation, it gets the exercise, it gets the time with nature. What I put into my body is the high quality food. I'm very conscious. I know what that is, and I know what vibration I'm putting inside myself. And then that's the investment to less stress. When stressful things can come up, like I always say, stress is a choice. Anxiety is almost a choice as well, because anxiety and stress are hand in hand. They're just co-parents of more bullshit that you can invite into your life. You can choose to have it or not. But when you are treating your body with that softness, you're treating your body with that care, that love and respect, when challenging situations crop up, you're able to navigate them much more easier. And it all impacts us because it's not even just in the way we feel, it's the way we look. So we start to, if we overburn ourselves and we don't look after ourselves, it starts to show in our face, in our body, just overall. We develop wrinkles, dark bags, and just even our facial features look exhausted. So there's only so much. I mean, you can go and buy all that Botox and do the surgery, but to be honest, you're just kind of, you're just aesthetically changing the surface of something where inside shit's dying, shit's not good, like shit's becoming shit, right? So you can gloss over the bullshit and what needs real root work by putting this nice glaze on top. You can throw on all the makeup you want, but if you're not looking after yourself, it's gonna age. It doesn't matter, like, and it actually comes down to the core of your health. So yeah, you could cover it all up, but your health is actually at detriment and it is deteriorating. So it's really gonna pay dividends when you do this, when you consciously say, I want to choose a softer life. And I'm going to make that conscious effort and I'm going to take steps consistently to try to become more soft with myself. So what kind of tips do I recommend? Well, take more rest. Make sure you're looking at your schedule and being deliberately there to take rest, and don't care what anyone says. Like, taking rest is a good thing. Sometimes having a little bit more of a lie-in, a lazy day, if you can have that. I know a lot of you have got like busy schedules, kids and everything, but schedule it, like put it in the diary that I'm having this extra hour of rest, or I'm gonna go and take this time out. And when you do have free time, spend that with yourself. Like, I know it's easy to go, I've got free time, I want to go out, I want to do things, but then you're just burning yourself out more, you're just exhausting yourself more. Sitting still and being with yourself is one of the most invaluable experiences, and I do a lot of it. I just do a lot of it, and I can't tell you how powerful it is, because there is no one you can know better than knowing yourself and being with yourself. And a lot of it's hard, especially when you're with yourself and you spend long periods of time with yourself. Fears and wounds and challenges and just things start to crop up, because that's when you're being asked to look at yourself, right? Or just the feeling of being lonely. But the feeling of being lonely is actually a powerful feeling, because it's actually telling you that you need to be on your own, because there's things that you need to build in yourself for that self-resilience. And I even had the other day, my aunt say to me, oh, it's so nice you're away with your friends so you're not alone. And I'm like, yo, like, you don't even understand. Like, she's from the old school era. She don't get it. I absolutely love being on my own. Don't get me wrong, it's lovely to be with a friend, especially when the friend is like soul family and you're aligned with them, then that is just beautiful. And that's very rare to happen. But being on my own is just incredible. And my auntie doesn't understand that, because she comes from the really old school way of life. Like, I don't even think she's ever traveled on her own. I don't think like it would even be like a thing. Oh, like, I'm gonna leave my family and I'm gonna go do my thing. Like, I gotta go just like sort myself out, you know? And it's crazy. Like, that should be embraced more. It should be encouraged more. It should be encouraged for both men and women, like, but especially women. So yeah, take loads of rest. Say no to whatever it is. If it's having to do extra hours of work, if it's not necessary and you can shift things. Once you keep allowing the overworking, it just becomes a thing and no one really cares. They'll just expect that that's what you need to do. So, you know, think about that. Like, no one's thinking about what you need for you. So be more diligent and vigilant about it. So yeah, say no. And also take a step back from situations. If you're around people or there's negative experiences, ask yourself, do you really want to be around that? Is it draining you? And get used to saying no or stepping away from it and just not giving it time and effort. Another thing that can create the sort of stress and headache is feeding into the outside world too much. media, social media. There's so much narrative and just distraction. Like all of that is just distraction from you focusing on yourself. So when you're able to get some time for you to like rest, if you're there just listening to the news and listening to what they're doing in Hollywood and who's slept with this person and who's had plastic surgery and who's divorced this person, that person's in court. Like, who cares? Is that going to save you when you're in the hospital bed? No, it's not going to. It's not even helping your mind. Your mind is still now like over processing this bullshit information. What value does it give you? Is it helping you to be any better in your life? Nah. So that's why I don't even entertain any of it. And I'm so strict. Like I will just say, if anyone talks about stuff like that, I kind of just don't even react. I don't even do this politics stuff. Like there's a lot going on in the UK with politics. I ain't interested. I don't care. It don't really mean much to me. As long as I know what I need to do for me, that's fine because I am my own boss of my life. All of that other distraction, if it's need to know, it's need to know. Otherwise, I don't need to know. So be ruthless. Like be ruthless because it actually makes you more powerful in what you need for your rest and your recuperation and your balance. Another one is just really being conscious about what you're eating, conscious about how your choices, making sure you put some time in for not just rest, but rest and time out, maybe some exercise and things like that. And also just being kind of like kind in a way that is like, okay, sometimes don't judge yourself. So I guess it's the final one is like, we are the biggest like criticisms of ourselves, right? We are the biggest critique, our own self-critique. So think about what's going through your mind. When you're trying to change these patterns, you'll be like, oh, but that person's not going to like this if I tell them I can't make it. Or work's going to say this if I say I can't work those extra hours. But you've done your contracted hours, you've got kids, whatever. Like, or I'm going to be seen as I'm not so cool anymore because I'm not hanging out with, I'm not making time for the others because I'm making more time for me. Whatever that is, your mind will start doing this because you're trying to change the narrative. You're trying to be more for you, right? And so when you're doing more for you, your mind will start to tell you, oh, but what are they going to think? Are they going to feel bad? Now, don't get me wrong, when it involves other people or if it's to do with work or whatever, yeah, some people might be like, oh, that's not great. We wanted it on this day. Or, oh, but I really wanted you to come out tonight, you know? But it doesn't matter because at the end of the day, if those situations are going to continue to be like that and they're going to put pressure, then they're not healthy situations and they're not for your best good and your highest good. So maybe, just maybe, you need to see some of that as well and then go, actually, is that really one of my friends? Because they're not respecting my boundaries. Or actually, they're not even about this soft life. So if they're not about this soft life, why do I want to be around them? Because they don't actually take time for them. They're like, health's not very good, or they're just like running overtime. They're burnt out. They don't get no rest. They're stressed. Why would I want to be around that person anyway? Because I'm trying to go into this direction. So like attracts like, right? So you'll naturally realize that that might not be what you want. And you don't actually have to outrightly say it. You could just choose not to turn up or not to go to certain things, not to be part of certain things, actively opt out. Luckily, I don't even get too caught into like conversations about politics or media, and especially when you're with like you're working and you're in these meetings and there's breakouts and stuff. I kind of just like slide away. I don't even know, like it always ends up being something about, oh, so I tried this vegan recipe and I'm like, oh yeah, did you? So it is just magical how things just shift in your favor and to the highest vibrational topic. And it does work. It happens. It just happens naturally. I don't even have to bring it up. People just want to start talking about something that maybe I'm more interested in. So it kind of just, it just works out in the end. And you don't have to feel like you have to be a part of the crowd. Like, I don't drink alcohol and I'll go to like these dinners, these events, and I'm there choosing not to drink alcohol. And I'll boldly say, I don't want that poison inside me because I just don't want it in me. And I'll say it and I don't care. Like, if you want to You can have it. I used to drink. I'm not judging you. And I say it from a nice place. And I hang out with everyone and they might be drinking. They might be getting intoxicated. Okay, if they're getting intoxicated and they're getting toxic, I'm out. But when it's business or whatever, and I have to be at an event, then, I will do it within the boundaries of whatever, and then I'll show my face and I'm out. If it's with a social scene, people start acting stupid after they've been drinking, then I'm out. Like, I'm not about that. Like, and most likely they're not my friends. They're someone else's friends because that's not what I choose to be around. So again, focus on you. Focus on what you need. Some people might not like it, but you may need to see that play out. You may have to be speaking up your truth, because if you don't speak up for you, ain't no one else going to do it, right? And if you speak to your family, they might likely just try to get you into that age-old programmed narrative that what they used to. And it's not that they're bad people for it, right? So we have compassion for that. We understand that they know no better because that's what they've kind of been used to. But by you standing in your truth and choosing something that's better for you, you can also inspire those around you. And they're like, oh, do you know what? I didn't even think of that. And then that's when it shifts and it's powerful, because it's not only helping you, but it's actually inadvertently helping others. So that's what I wanted to say about this soft girl era. I don't even think it's an era. It's just being in your softness, your soft feminine. And guys, you need to do this too. It is for all of us, but especially the women that have been like overdoing it, really trying to prove themselves because they've got to, climb the ladder in the workplace, or, provide for their kids and be that mother and father. We're doing a lot, right? We're doing a lot. Building our own businesses, buying our own properties, doing it alone, not in a couple, not in that old school way of doing things. We are doing a lot, and we need to look after ourselves, because it is us feminines right now here on earth that are building and paving the way for the future generations, but both men and women, and helping to lead the men as well, because they need us. They really do. We have that special ability and that dominant feminine energy within us, for those that resonate with being a woman, that is needed in this world, and that is here to heal this world, heal the world, and define that new earth that we are forming right now. So with that being said, I'm going to love and leave you, and I'm going to go into my soft mode now. I need to go and eat some nice food, but I'll send you love, light, peace, and abundance. And until next time, see you later, guys. Mwah.